back, ladies and gentlemen, to EPIC38, powered by Intel. My name is Zoe. I'm, of course, joined by the excellent Molten.
Hello, hello.
Such a good caster, we invited him back.
Oh, why thank you.
For this special best of 5, our first PVT, I think. It's actually our first PVT.
I feel like it's not. Roscoe played against Volt.
We didn't cast that, though.
No?
No, we
Did
didn't
I make
cast
that
that.
up?
This is our first
fair
PVT
enough.
being cast.
Nice.
And it's probably the best one in the tournament. It's going to be ForJumy, one of the best players in this tournament, versus Razer, also one of the best players in this tournament.
Yeah, with Risky forfeiting, I'd expect this to be the grand final.
Yes, yeah,
Obviously, we're not there yet, and there's still
no, but
other
this will be a
players,
little taster.
but I think it could be a little taster of what's to come, yeah, for sure.
All right. I wonder if there's going to be any mind games. If Razer is going to bring out some particular builds this series, and he's going to try and bring them out again, or completely change his playstyle in the grand finals if he gets there with ForJumy.
I think normally Razer would be thinking that, and would be thinking maybe he's not going to use maybe some cheesy builds or some unique builds that he has for this final. But I think Razer's maybe not as confident as he normally is, and he's probably just going to try his best in this series and just try and win.
Because I've seen before, I forget which tournament it was, Razer played against a really good Protoss player, I think it was Gongfu Banda. And again, it looked like he was being quite insecure in how he was playing, because he was going for these wacky cheeses. And I'm wondering if he feels the same way in this series, if he's going to go for that again.
Yeah, I do expect him to mix it up. I think ForJumy is the favourite here. Even though it is only a few hundred or even a couple hundred MMR difference at most, ForJumy's looked really good this tournament so far. He's dropped one map, which is interesting, a little Ling Rush out of nowhere. But yeah, apart from that, ForJumy's looked basically flawless so far.
Yes.
However, his PVT hasn't really been tested yet, and Razer is the only high-level Terran at this tournament. So there's going to be an interesting dissection of ForJumy's PVT, and we'll have to see if he's up to the task.
That's a really good way of putting it. This will be the first time ForJumy's properly tested, particularly against Terran this tournament. So we'll have to see how it goes. So both players have just finished their vetoes now. We're just in lobby waiting for Razer to come back to his PC. It looks like they were doing their vetoes in person, just over the shoulder.
And we're going to be going into Dragon Scales for map number 1. Pretty standard map, maybe a bit on the smaller side. So I'd expect that this was probably Razer's pick. It is a best of 5, so only one veto each. Do we know what the vetoes are? Or?
I don't, unfortunately.
I would guess that ForJumy vetoed Altitude. Or I'd expect the vetoed maps to be Altitude and Neo-Humanity, the bigger ones. Maybe Gresfan sneaks in there as a veto as well.
What do you think about Gresfan against Terran? Because obviously we've seen it against quite a few times this tournament.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one because it's a very wide map, which is kind of good for the Terran. Lots of space for them to send drops around, and there's plenty of space in the main base to get those drops in. So I'd say it's probably good for Terran, but again, it's kind of long at the same time, so it gives ForJumy plenty of time and an opportunity to see the drops coming. So I think it's a pretty well-balanced map.
All right. Well, Razer has just requested 2 minutes, so we're just going to have to buy some more time.
Yeah, and Razer is going to be playing under his codename Volticus.
Yes, we've seen this already this tournament.
We have.
There are a few times where I nearly called him Volticus as well. Like, I can imagine someone tuning into the stream not knowing the context and being like, oh my god, Volt is really good all of a sudden.
In fact, I cast Razer's match. Was that with you or was that with Brumalia after?
I can't remember.
Which one did we cast yesterday?
We did cast PVT. We cast Razer versus Iger.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
There we go. Yeah, okay, we cast that, yes, and he was using Volticus, okay.
Yes, yeah. It'll get ultra confusing if, I think, as you said, Volt started playing on an account called Razer.
Now you've reminded me of that Razer Iger series. We saw in game 1, Razer went with that 3 racks and just absolutely destroyed
Then he went for like a
Iger, and then he went for a Widowmine drop in game 2. So I wonder if we'll see a similar plan from him here.
Yeah, but I think both games were just very safe. So Razer has voluntarily decided to change accounts just to avoid the confusion.
For that.
Just to avoid the confusion. So he's no longer going to be playing under the name Volticus. He'll be playing, hopefully, under a name we're a bit more familiar with.
That makes things much easier.
Yeah, because when you're getting really into the game, you just sort of go with the names that you see on the screen. You don't necessarily say the name that you know who's playing.
Yeah, for sure. And anyone joining the stream is going to be shocked when they're seeing in the upper bracket semi-final is between Volticus and ForJumy.
That's the one. There we go. Razer is now online.
On RazerBlader.
Let's invite him to the game.
There it is. And he is representing Red Dragons, because I remember when he was on Volticus, we weren't really sure. But it is going to be Red Dragons versus K10.
I'll be honest, I've never heard of K10 before until they picked up ForJumy. I know that they're a CSGO team, and they have a lot of UK representation here as well.
They have a loud CSGO team over there.
Yes.
Sounds like they've been winning some games.
Even for CSGO teams, K10 are very loud.
K10 are very loud.
All right, so the countdown has just started. We're now loading into the game, and we'll get ready to introduce these players as soon as we're in. There we are. All right, spawning down in the bottom right. The green Protoss player for K10, it is ForJumy.
And in the northwest of Dragon Scales, in the red, playing for Red Dragons, the Terran player, Razer. What a cool name, by the way. Imagine you're called Razer and your brother's called Zane. Like, what a time to be alive.
Very good names.
Those are unreal names.
I might name my son Razer, actually.
Well, that's a good point. Razer recently announced that he is going to be having a child.
Yes.
And he has, non-ironically, said that he is considering the name Maru.
Unironically.
Unironically. And I was like, mate, is your wife okay with that? Yeah. And he was like, she actually likes the name. So there is actually a chance we could get a little Maru Seka.
Little baby Maru.
I think it is quite a cute name, isn't it? I don't know. Baby Maru. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to convince him to name the child Maru, because that's not really my place to name his child. But I do really want him to call it Maru.
Alright, we see this probe scouting, getting some annoying damage onto the SCV there, which is annoying, but nothing really happens. We see the double gas opening from Razer. I don't think ForJumy has actually scouted this.
No. So this probe actually came across the map a little early, and the reason for that is that ForJumy's walled off on the low ground.
Yes.
Which against Terran isn't so standard, but we did see this a couple of years ago, and it was used just for getting that Adept to the other side of the map fast to delay that command center. But as Raz is opening with the 2 gas, he's not going to have the CC on the low ground for that Adept to deny.
He's going for this factory, I'm assuming double Reaper, Hellion approach. So having a wall off in the natural, I think, is a good chance. Just that extra bit of safety. That probe's being so annoying. Just look at all these ultra damaged SCVs. The damage that Jumy's been dishing out with just his scouts is actually really impressive.
That is insane.
The Reaper's now trying to find that probe to get some revenge, but he's not going to find it. He's just gone in the wrong direction.
So we actually see a battery going down in the main base. Obviously, he's not Reaper walled off, so the Reapers can get in, but if it is only 2 Reapers, the battery is going to do a good job of protecting those probes. If it's any more, this could be tough for ForJumy.
This probe is now going to scout around, but he's trying to be annoying. He hasn't seen seen the gas timings, or he sees the expansion. Perhaps he knows just from that it's double gas, particularly with this double Reaper now that he sees.
Is that worth it for Jummy to block? Because the Adept can now shade in, because the pylons force the barracks to lift up, and there's so many low HP SCVs.
And he blocks the barracks from going down to build the reactor. This is so frustrating to play against as a Terran player, because it's not exactly game-ending, but it could easily snowball. That Reaper nearly goes down, but so does the Adept. Okay, the Adept goes down, but there's another one coming in. And so this Adept now has essentially free reign until the Cyclone comes out. Razer looks completely flustered.
Cyclone is not going to be out for a little while, and there's so many low HP SCVs. 3 have already gone down, but it's going to be more. 4th goes down, a 5th should go down as well.
He's actually paused production on the Starport as well. Cyclone is finally out, but did the Adept go down?
No, it died. It died.
The Adept actually went down there. It nearly shaded away.
That's illegal.
Someone call an ambulance.
I mean, dare I say, this game is very, very over. Look at the worker count. It's 33 to 19. 3 minutes 50 into the game. It's an absolute disaster for Razer.
Yeah, I mean, I was convinced Razer was going to go for Hellion, so you go double Reaper Hellion, at which point you can fight the Adepts with a bit more gusto, but because he was delayed the initial factory unit to go for that tech lab, you now see that this Adept was just able to just one-shot a lot of these SCVs that were already damaged just by the scouts. Look, this battery here now means this Reaper's going to get no damage done onto the probes, but he does get a scout off, sees the extra gateways.
That scout is important. The issue for Razer right now is that he doesn't know it's charged. This is a chargelet all-in from ForJumy. I mean, I say all-in. He's not really all-in. His economy's way better than Razer's, but there's going to be a massive chargelet attack.
Very, very aggressive. 4 gateways now down. So really, Jimmy looking to capitalize on that early economic advantage that he has.
Yeah, I don't think Razer is going to be able to hold this. He's making a bunker on the low ground, but he's going to have 2 Cyclones and a tank.
He's
it's
got
not going to be enough.
He actually cancelled the Magfield accelerator upgrades. So these Cyclones are both unupgraded, and also he's keeping them on the low ground at the natural rather than in the main base, to protect from any sort of Warp Prism. He's seen the extra gates and he's seen the Robo base. So this Warp Prism now, it's loading back in, it's warping in chargelets. This is going to be really painful now. There's a tank siege, but it's on the low ground. Chargelets are now in the main base. They jump on top of these units. He's going to pick off a Viking, which is really nice. You can actually see some probes going down in the background, it looks like, with landed Vikings getting some counter damage done.
There. And to be honest, so far, this has been a really good hold by Razer.
Yes.
Not even losing
some expensive units have gone down, but ultimately not many SCVs at all. You're totally right on that one. Razer doing a really good job of kiting the chargelets as well back into the tank range. Look at this splash damage onto the chargelets as well. The tank is doing so well, even though it's on the low ground in the natural. As soon as the chargelets clump up, they all die.
Now the Viking on the Prism, and 4 Zealots are going to warp in, but he's going to lose the Prism.
He's going to lose the Prism. He will clean up some of these SCVs in the main base, but Razer does pull them down. Once again, 2 siege tanks now on the low ground means that these chargelets, I mean, their lifetime is going to be very limited.
And ForJummy's kind of given Razer a way back into the game with his Zealot attack.
In fairness, let's take a stock check of this, okay? I think 1 Viking went down, 2 Cyclones went down, and although those are gas units, and ForJumy has only spent minerals on the chargelets, ultimately, you know, this pressure hasn't really worked out, I wouldn't say. There's no economic damage really done to Razer.
Yeah, I mean, look at the worker count though behind this. ForJumy got a 3rd base, which he's almost fully saturated now. And while the army supply isn't too hot, he's got the tech he needs. He's making Archons. He's got 4 more gates on the way, so he's going to be in 8 gates of production. Is still looking incredible for Jimmy, don't get me wrong. But I thought it would have gone worse for Razer.
Totally agree. I suppose this is one of those attacks where, you know, if it works, great, you just instantly win the game. If it doesn't work, I mean, it's fine. I've still got a 3rd base. I can just transition out very easily into a mid-game.
Yeah, ForJumy didn't overcommit there at all.
No. That was a perfect level of commitment, you might say.
Very annoying supply block for Razer as well. The last thing he wants right now when he needs to be trying to catch up in that economy.
If you look at the upgrades as well, we see combat, Stimpack still a while away, no combat shields yet. He's actually producing off a naked barracks. I'd guess purely because his economy is so low, with only 35 SCVs and 2 CCs worth of mules. There's just not a lot here for Razer.
Yeah, he just didn't have the gas to make the tech lab, so he just built a marine instead.
I mean, surely
Storm on the way.
I mean, surely Juby just sees this and he's like, oh, I'm actually really far ahead.
Yeah, he sees no 3rd base. He sees only 3 barracks in this army, and with Storm on the way, I mean.
8 minutes, still no 3rd base, only 3 barracks.
Razer's going to have to attack.
Still no combat shields as well.
Jummy's going to have Storm. And
I mean, the tech is just so far in Jummy's favour. This Viking's actually nearly going to get picked off, and it will just about. Nice pick off there for Jimmy, just eking out all of these advantages left, right, and centre. You actually see a scouting
SCV in the middle.
He gets
Jummy's main.
some scouting off.
I don't know how that got there or how long it's been there.
I don't think the SCV knows how he got there.
There's
one charge there.
Just kill it.
Oh no, that poor SCV.
Storm is about to finish. Ghosts are on the way for Razer, so he has good tech, but still
it's
no
just the
3rd
economy,
command
though.
center.
He can't sustain this level of army production on this tech, on this economy. He needs to eventually go up to a 3rd base just to stay somewhat in this game. Otherwise, he's going to get overwhelmed.
I wonder if he's going to try pull the boys. That's not going to work because Jimmy has Storm.
This is the worst composition to pull the boys into.
Yeah,
you've got Chargelets, Archons, and Storm. I mean, I can understand him going for the Ghosts to counter this unit composition, but I just don't see how Razer can make any sort of attack work.
But he has to, right? Like, he
Yeah.
doesn't have a third
What else
command
can he
center.
do?
He has to get something done soon.
Charge
Maybe waiting
in
for
the main
combat
base,
fields.
right as
There it
you
is.
called it, right as Raza moves out, pulling the boys. These charges though have complete free reign here.
Yeah.
There's just nothing to defend back at home. I don't know if ForJumy scouted the fact that Raza is pulling the boys with this massive attack, but he must suspect something's
just
up
assumes,
because Raza
right?
just isn't defending back at home. So ForJumy must know something is coming across the map.
He needs good EMPs.
Huge
That is a
EMP
good
on
EMP
the
on the
Chargers
setup.
and the Archons, but the High Templar go down, storms all over the Marines and the SCVs. Winter mines go off. I don't think it's enough. There's too many Chargelets. GG is called. Raza is out in a very convincing first game.
I mean, very dominant. That is the Adept at the start that did all the damage. He lost 2 Adepts and killed 6 SCVs within the first 4 minutes of the game.
Unheard of.
That should never, ever happen. And it's all because that probe blocked the reactor of Raza with the pylon, meaning he had to lift the barracks, meaning the Adept could trade in. After the probe did so much damage to the SCVs, it was really nicely done by ForJumy.
Yeah, you can see as well the way he was microing the probes. He'd attack, move command, just to maximize the damage output, even of the scout. You could just see that he was intending on doing that sort of play, and it worked out superbly well.
Yeah, we're going to be going into Babylon for the next game.
What do you think about this in terms of PVT?
I mean, I expect to see something similar from ForJumy. It is a pretty similar map to Royal Blood in terms of distance and that ramp to the natural. Yeah, I mean, ForJumy must just be so confident right now.
I imagine he feels very comfortable, particularly after that game. All right, the countdown is now on, and we are loading into the game, so we will be there very shortly.
I think on paper that should have been an okay situation for Raza going double gas into that factory before command center, because it means he didn't need to protect his command center on the low ground.
Normally that's a very safe build. When you go double Reaper Hellion or double Reaper anything, you expand on the high ground. You should be able to defend any sort of early gateway pressure, but he just fell apart because of those SCVs were so badly damaged.
And you're actually kind of hoping your opponent brings their Adept across the map so you can kill it with the 2 Reapers and the Hellion.
Alright, let's introduce the players then. In the bottom right of Babylon is the green Protoss player looking very comfortable so far. It is ForJumy.
And in the northwest, in the red, playing Terran for Red Dragons, it's Raza. So we don't see the low ground pylon this time from ForJumy.
No, we see it up on the high ground behind the mineral line. I wonder if that's just because this is easier to hold, because it's a ramp and it's quite a narrow ramp as well.
Yeah, I don't know what... I wouldn't have been surprised to see him go for the low ground again, but I mean, I'm sure both Raza and ForJumy aren't expecting that ForJumy would ever get that much damage done with her first and second Adept again.
Yes, yeah. Interesting to see that Raza's choosing not to go for the double gas variation of the opening this time. She's only to go for the single gas. He's going to go for the quicker expansion, but of course, we'll have to see what ForJumy does.
Annoying probe. How many hundreds of damage will it get done?
Probe. He gets 5 damage done instantly.
That's huge. Well, it actually is quite nice because it means the Adept will then 2-shot that SCV instead of 3-shotting it. So if you can hit every SCV once at least, that is quite nice.
Right, Marine
probe needs to be careful.
Yeah. Shields have now gone, so it is taking
Okay, so I think Raza's going to 3-racks this game, as we saw against Eiger.
Yes, yeah. When he opened Marine first, that's exactly what he did. Okay, so Marine. Probe on the low ground. Looks like it's just, again, being annoying, trying to get that scout off. Marine is now out, so it will shoo away this probe. Probe is not going to get as much damage done as it did last time. Marine obviously comes up quicker than a Reaper, so Probe's life is short-lived. Raza, on the flip side of things, sees everything, sees the timing of the Nexus and the Cyber Core, so knows what's what. Okay,
so it's a factory from Raza. It's not going to be 3-racks.
No, okay.
But still good to keep Jimmy guessing with that Marine first.
Yes, yeah. Marine into reactor, does go Raza.
Oh,
wow. Someone call the police.
Need to call Petto about that one. That's not okay.
Someone call the police.
Sprays the question mark over the dead bird's body.
I know. Mad lad. Okay, we see the Stargate coming up with an Adept coming out. So again, potentially. Wow, good casting there, Zeroy. We see the potential for an Adept and Oracle attack, perhaps.
Yeah, so with the Stargate coming out, it's less important that this Adept gets scouting done. Obviously, he's still going to send it across the map, but it doesn't really matter if he doesn't get a shade in, because the Oracle or Phoenix will eventually scout what's going on in that main base, and we're seeing Hellions from Razer.
It's going to get instantly scouted though, even by this shade.
He doesn't know if it's Hellions or Widow Mines.
I don't think you'd ever see reactive Widow Mines, surely.
Well, he knows now.
Yeah, he knows now. This Adept
okay,
will
well,
go
the
down.
Adept going down is pretty decent for us. Obviously, he gets some good scouting information for Jimmy. It's going to be an Oracle.
He was building 2 more Hellions, but he cancels them and goes into Widow Mines.
So
this will be safer against the Oracle when it comes out.
I think maybe he was going to do a Hellion drop. But
yes, but
once it's been scouted, that Hellion drop is less likely that it's going to work, right?
Yeah, of course. Obviously, yeah, you're totally right on that, given that ForJumy's already seen this.
We are seeing a Phoenix from ForJumy, so I wonder if he's going to commit to that or if he's just getting one to potentially shoo away a drop.
I think that's right. I think the Phoenix is simply there just to shoo away any potential drop. Obviously, seeing this reactor factory, you expect the medevac to come out first. That's exactly what Raz has done. He's seen the medevac. He's going to pick up... Is he going to pick up these mines? Okay, he's going to pick up the mines. But then surely this Oracle then has free reign to do what it wants. Okay, he's keeping it at home, interestingly.
Yeah, that is interesting. He's really expecting a drop coming in.
It
seems another drop is loaded up for Razer. It looks like it's going to be headed towards the natural.
Yeah, I suppose ForJumy did see the 2 Hellions pop up the front here, so he's still waiting for medevac to come in. It's just that it's not coming in from the angle he's anticipating. Oh, he's just moved his units. Oh, he's double guessing himself.
He is. Third base might scout this medevac and their Adept surely see it.
Sees the medevac coming in. The question is how much damage is going to be done. ForJumy's going to have to split his probes. Medevac boosted, but the Phoenix are here.
Well.
He can't really pull the probes because the Hellions are there, but they get...
The probes aren't being pulled. Oh my goodness.
Big damage goes onto the Phoenix. Not many probes go down, and these will end up dying. There's 1 minute mine here in the main base, but it gets picked up very quickly. The Hellions didn't do too much damage at all there. So I say overall, very good defense.
Yeah, that was excellently dealt with.
Yeah. Even though he did lose a Phoenix and a couple Adepts maybe, he didn't lose...
He lost 1 probe.
Yeah, I know.
I think. That's insane.
Worker count very even for both players. I think both players would expect to be in this position typically in the mid-game in terms of worker count.
Yeah.
So overall, good defense. And did he kill the medevac? No, he didn't kill the medevac. This is a second.
Yeah, second Widow Mine drop coming in. We know Razer's idol is Maru, and Maru really loves these kinds of builds where you just keep sending in Widow Mine drops. We see he's still building Widow Mines, so there's going to be consistent drops.
The Phoenix and Oracle are in position though, and one has a lot of energy to pick up any Widow Mines that do drop. Of course, the Oracle will activate just to laze any Widow Mines that come in.
Oh no, you don't want to be moving out now with the Phoenix.
Yes,
the drop is waiting outside that main base. Another drop being sent north.
4 more. He's gonna time this up, right? So he's gonna flying with one, flying with the other.
This could do so much.
Yes, I think this is purely just scouting out though the Phoenix, keeping tabs on things, see if he can pick up anything. Okay, there is a Viking there to shoot them away. He's continuing to build Phoenix, and he's going into the Robo base, so potentially some kind of charge of Phoenix.
The drop into the main base. Is ForJumy paying attention? Of course he is.
Yes, he is, absolutely. He picks up 1 Widow Mine just to try to bring it back over to these clumped up probes, but it looks like Widow Mine will die before it can burrow. There's one left burrowed, hits the Stalker. There's another drop going into the third base. Only 1 drops out. 2 more will go into the natural. Superb control here by ForJumy so far. Nice.
5 probes going down. It's not nothing. Like it's not something for Razer.
He's kept this medevac alive, so that's going to come back for future damage. And that's a cheeky little Widow Mine
to catch.
And he can even just waddle this over eventually. And it actually, I wonder if he can attack from the high grounds.
Oh, I don't know if ForJumy's going to get this one in the third base. Has he forgotten about it? I think he has. No. And Razer could be about to get a massive hit with the Widow Mine. Woo! 5 more go down. And that's 11 probes going down. And suddenly, we have a game, folks.
This looks like a very good... I think Razer will be very happy with the damage that he's done now. Although the first drop didn't get too much done, the repeat drops did.
They're still alive.
Surely
the Observer's only just started. There is an Oracle, but this Widow Mine is going to be able to fire again.
It is going to fire again, but I don't think you can unburrow this and let it survive. I think it will only detonate on 1 probe, possibly even just 1 Adept or one Zealot. No, surely not.
Yeah,
just 1 probe. There's not an armory, is there? Oh, there is! That's why he can't spot them, of course.
Observer is finally out now, and it is a bit awkward for ForJumy now because you have 4 Phoenix, which isn't really a lot.
No.
It's not going to really help out in a big army fight. They were very useful for clearing up the drops for sure, but now it's almost a bit of dead army supply for ForJumy.
Yeah, I suppose that they're nice for any sort of follow-up harass.
Yeah, they're not useless at all.
I think we've seen the majority of the harass already finished.
Yeah.
And if you look at the worker counts in the economy, I'd expect Razer to be ahead at this point.
Oh yeah, this worker count is really good for Razer because if you're even with the Protoss and you're on 3 command centers, I mean, we see there 4 mules mining at once is an insane amount of income for Razer.
You can see that income spiking up now. Yeah. It's a really good position for Razer to be in.
We see Razer take the supply lead.
His stim is finished. His combat shield is about to finish. I'm wondering at what point Razer decides to go ahead, just attack. Is he waiting for a critical number of Vikings, perhaps?
Yeah, so I think he has scouted the Colossus, and with a 3rd Colossus on the way, you do want a decent number of Vikings. Phoenix are going to complicate it a bit.
Yes, I know you said that these are almost like dead supply, but I guess even in low numbers like this, they're really annoying for the Vikings to have to deal with.
Stasis ward going down in the middle of the map. Plenty of tanks out as well, so Razer's set up pretty defensively right now, and with a Ghost Academy on the way, I don't think this game's going to be ending anytime soon.
He's trying to stim past those units, but I don't think he's going to get away with that one. Poor Marine.
The little Marine that kid.
Let's see if he does actually see the 4th base out of ForJumy.
I love these like random 9-minute SCV scouts. Like, it just gives him information without having to scan.
I suppose he just values his army supply a bit more. Doesn't want to send out a Marine, send out an SCV.
Yeah. Oh, Phoenix!
One of them nearly
1
goes down.
5 HP.
And it goes down.
0 HP. Yeah, that's a nice pick off for Razer, but it looks like his Viking's getting a little bit too frisky.
Yes.
Will it be able to get another Phoenix? Not quite.
Not quite. Nearly, though. 10 HP left on that one. I think Razer was distracted. There were some charges up to the north side. He's going to take out this pylon, so no more charge at run boys going down into this base in the near future.
There are 2 disruptors on the way, though, and that's where this game starts to get really tricky for Razer.
I mean, for both players. I mean, Razer's getting Ghost now as well, so both players are just rounding out their tech, rounding out their forms of splash damage, and Razer just getting his responses for the Colossus and the Disruptors.
What's the Viking count out now? He's been reacting them out. Oh, only 4?
Only
really?
4,
wow,
with 2 more on the way.
I was thinking that he was already at 8 or something, but he's nearing in on maxing out, and I do wonder if we're going to see him move out or just try and defend a 4th.
Yeah, I would have expected someone to just, even with Stim, just to be out on the map. And if you do get collapsed on, just kite back, because you could do that with Bio. Bio is very quick. Instead, ForJumy is seizing the initiative with this mobile charger army.
I like it from ForJumy. Once you have disruptors, it's really nice to be out on the map because it's so easy to retreat with disruptors. You can just zone that Bio army out.
Yes, yeah. But, I mean, ForJumy sees everything with this observer, though. He knows all those that stasis one. That's not going to be critical, but it is annoying. But like I said, the observer sees everything, so he knows Razer's movement.
Good scan there as
excellent scan.
ForJumy's rotating around.
Nice EMP onto the chargelets. One ghost does go down, but in response, some of these chargelets lose their lives. One disruptor shot goes out, misses. One Colossus gets quite low. There's a lot of bio here for Razer. I don't think...
Oh my god, the rocks!
What is this? How did I miss this?
I didn't even realise that was a feature on this map.
I didn't know you could do that either.
ForJumy breaks the rocks to secure his escape in what looked to be a pretty bad of a fight.
He needed to do that because this DPS would have absolutely rinsed these 3 Colossus. There's no more chances in this little pocket of Protoss. But again, these chargers cannot engage on their own. They need to be married up to the rest of the army. The Vikings are hunting.
Nice
they get 1 pick off on a Colossus. Can they find any more? A lot of damage there. 2 Colossus go down. Stalkers are finally here to shoot them away, but the tanks are set up on the low ground. This is looking really good for Razer now. He needs to be careful of the disruptor shots. One goes out, finds a tank just about. Razer needs to be careful. These disruptors are
all the disruptors fired. All the disruptors fired. Razer knows that he's going to move in. The battery overcharge is used, but the disruptors are being targeted down.
The DPS of the Terran army is so strong. There's no more Colossus, no more disruptors. Razer's just stepping up and killing everything. One nice disruptor goes out, but it's not enough. There's just nothing here. Razer has absolutely rinsed this Protoss army, and it looks like he's going to take this game.
Fantastic game by Razer.
Yeah. After an incredibly one-sided game 1, Razer comes back swinging, and he is going straight for the throat now. On top of the production, one disruptor ball goes out, whiffs a lot of this bio, and Razer's just stimming on forwards now. He's unpowered everything. GG.
Oh my goodness, we have a series.
We have a series. I'm not going to lie. After game 1, I was really worried.
I was thinking the same. I didn't want to say it.
Yeah.
But I was like, there's going to be 3-0 to Jimmy, isn't it?
I was thinking, oh god, it's going to be 3-0 to Jimmy. That's going to be quite an underwhelming finals. But seeing Razer perform like that is giving me hope.
I like it because it's not like Razer got a game-ending amount of damage.
No.
He did good damage with the Widowmine drop, but it wasn't like, oh, this game's over, Razer just got lucky with a Widowmine or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, he continuously dropped Widowmines against a guy who opened Phoenix,
yes,
which, on paper, looks pretty good for Jimmy.
It's not even as if Razer did some kind of sort of tricksy one-base build that ForJumy just wasn't prepared for, and then Razer won a coin flip. That was a macro build, a good opening to get some amount of economic damage to bring him ahead in the mid-game, and then he just destroyed Jimmy's army.
Yeah, very solid game by Razer.
Yeah, the Vikings had such a good angle on the Colossus at the beginning. The Colossus essentially didn't really appear in that fight at all.
Yeah.
And as you said, when the disruptive shots went out, they were on cooldown, and there was just nothing there.
Yeah, ForJumy got a little excited there, a little maybe scared of the incoming Terran army. He fired all 4 of his disruptors at once. And you can just never, well, not at once, but in a very short amount of time.
Yes.
You just can't do that, especially against Razer. He's going to notice that and then jump on your army as he did.
No, he absolutely knew when to attack. I was questioning whether or not Razer was being too passive even, just sitting back on 3 base. But it seemed like as soon as he stepped out on the map, he did so very decisively.
Yeah.
All right, we're now loading into the game. We're on Royal Bloods. One game apiece. Okay, spawning in the top right, the green Protoss player. For K10, it is ForJumy.
With a very, very, very early probe out on the map.
Yes.
And in the southwest, in the red, playing Terran for Red Dragons. Can he get another one on the board? It's Razer. What is this probe
Correctly
up to?
identified, a very quick probe scout. Of course, first pylon is
I
going
don't
back
think
in
it's
the
a
main
scout.
base.
I think it's a proxy gate.
Is this a max packs build where you build 2 pylons at once?
Well, so there's 2 possible builds. A max packs build is where he only proxies a gateway.
Right.
A proxy gateway build is where you proxy a gateway and build a gateway at home. This does look like a max packs.
Okay.
Which is very interesting. This SCV
This
is going
SCV
straight
sees
for
it
it! What a scout by Razer!
What a
my
superb
goodness.
scout!
That's an unreal
sees
scout.
It as soon as it goes down. That could not have gone any better for the Terror player.
I mean, I reckon Razer's done his homework there.
Yes.
There's no way you just randomly send an SCV out that way. Razer must have studied some sort of VOD of ForJumy and seen that this was a possibility.
Surely this is just risky by ForJumy though, because why would you put it so close to the entrance?
It's a very ambitious proxy gate
it's
for sure.
Like even if you scout out normally, it's so close to where the scout would normally see. So I mean, maybe that's just greed out of ForJumy. Why not just put it back further?
This is interesting. He goes for a Marine because
so he
the thing is,
he wants the earlier factory clearly, by not building a Reaper. The question is, what is he going to do with that early factory?
But the thing with the max packs is that you have nothing at home.
Oh my god, he's proxying the factory.
Okay, I kind of love it.
What is this?
Oh, and the probe goes down to the Marine.
The probe dies. There's no follow-up scout here for ForJumy. Did he scout? Okay, he's scouting double gas by Razer, but I mean that could be anything. It could be factory at home for a cyclone.
Oh,
I think that's just a misplacement. He wanted it a bit closer to the ramp. He's going to try to replace this barracks, and he will do so before the Zealot gets here. Marines can step up to poke around the Zealots. Zealot's not going to kill the reactor before it is finished. So
ForJumy needs to make a battery at home in his mineral line, or these Hellions are going to destroy everything.
He sees the fact that he's got Marine first, not Reaper, so why would he build a battery at home? Normally you build that at home to defend against a Reaper.
Yep, I agree.
No Reaper, no battery. Makes sense.
Yeah, it's genius that Razer didn't build a Reaper, actually.
Yes, yeah.
I was like, he can get so much damage done with the Reaper, but actually,
the bunker's
it means that Jimmy has no defense
this Stalker's
at
going to get sweet FA done.
Wow, it's a Widowmine and a proxy starport.
Wow.
And an armory, oh my goodness. ForJumy is so dead. He doesn't have any detection.
No.
He doesn't have a robo, he doesn't have a Stargate. There's literally no way for him to
He's
building a Twilight. He's so dead.
Wow.
He is so dead.
He has zero detection.
Oh, he cancels it. It goes robo. Why did he do that?
We're far away enough.
We are
Jimmy
we
can't
are
hear
definitely
us.
far away enough from Jimmy. Don't you worry about that. That is insane, though.
Yes, yeah.
What did he? What did he think? He's scouting the map as well.
Oh,
he's scouting it with the
Stalker. That's why he cancelled.
What a massive scout. That's a game-saving scout from ForJumy here.
Yes. We were literally just saying, oh my god, he's so, so dead.
Oh, nice shade out with that Adept. Forcing the Widowmine to shoot, doesn't quite get the kill off.
Yeah, but the armory's finished now. I don't know if it was given away, because the stealth of the armory that the Marines, the mines then have.
Observer on the way. Oh my goodness,
oh,
Jimmy
no,
goes for the side, it's ambitious,
it's very
ambitious, he doesn't get it,
5 probe kills, 2 more Widowmines are now going into the main base. The Observer's being chronoed out and it will come out just in time. Oh, that could have been so much worse than it was. Good splits there from ForJumy in the main base, but still 8 probes going down. That's very big damage at this stage of the game.
The Observer went down there as well. I
yeah,
think so.
Totally
I think it died to splash damage, which means this Widowmine in the natural is going to fire again. It's going to get 3 more probes.
About it? He has. Widowmine targets on. 2 more probes. I thought that's going to be even more. Good save there by
wow, that's
Razer.
a second medevac, by the way. So there's another Widowmine in that's fresh. And it is going to burrow.
Nice, good split again by ForJumy. Gets only 1 probe with that one. But these Stalkers are now I think they're going to destroy that starport.
Oh no, the Stalker's got distracted and only 1 Stalker, I think.
Yeah,
oh, he's going back for it.
Yeah, they're coming back.
He'll be able to get it. That is a pretty big pick-off.
Yes. But you see a lot of Marines here by Razer. Is there some kind of Marine counter-attack potential, or is this just me being really hyped?
I don't think so. I think he'll want to wait till his second and third racks are done so he can get that stim and combat shields. I mean, Razer's only at 23 workers, by the way, and his command center is kind of late.
Yes, I was literally about to say that. Razer needed to get that economic damage done, just so he can compensate for the fact that his second base is so late.
Yeah. I still can't believe that Jimmy scouted that.
Yeah.
He scouted the entire map.
Yes,
it would have been so easy for Jimmy to just assume Razer's built stuff at home.
Here. Let's see what this can do.
The red HP
oh, he's looking just in time. Splits right at the last second. Only 1 more probe going down. That Widowmine will die. But now all these Stalkers, there's no bunker on the low ground. There's only Marines here, so these Stalkers can kite for days. This is actually looking looking pretty uncomfortable for Razer.
It really is.
I wouldn't say it looks bad, it's uncomfortable because you want to get this on the low ground as soon as you can. But what can he do?
He needs the tank to pop out.
He's got no tech units here to push these Stalkers back.
Once the tank is out, he'll be able to push it back. But this is a lot of denied mining for Jimmy.
Yes, yeah. He drops 1 cheeky Widowmine here, just in case the Stalkers do just walk over it. But yeah, you're totally right. Now the tank is out, he's going to siege it on the high ground presumably, just to get rid of these Stalkers so he can finally get his second base on the low ground. He actually repowers that gateway so he can warp in 2 more Stalkers. I think that's ambitious.
That is definitely
with that tank
ambitious.
There as well.
This Widowmine at the back, is he going to be able to hit that Stalker?
He's going to get that medevac though. Nice pick off there by ForJumy just to get that medevac at the end.
Yeah, really nicely done there.
He must see that Widowmine though.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, no, he doesn't! Oh, 2 Stalkers go down to that 1 Widowmine.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So, as we enter this early mid game, we sort of stabilise.
I do think it's good for Jimmy.
It is good
44 workers to 27. He has a third base on the way as well.
Fully saturated 2 base, getting his tech out with the Colossus.
Yeah.
Twilight Meltdown finally into charge, third base on the way, whereas Razer half saturated his second base. His stim and combat shields are about to finish, but he can't really attack into Colossus.
Yeah, well, the Twilight is really late, so it is kind of just 2 Colossus for Jimmy and not really much else of an army. And if he can get the tanks in a good position, maybe he can make it awkward. But yeah, it doesn't look like Razer's moving out. Looks like he's going to...
He's choosing to move out now.
Cast the curse. Yeah, I like it. I think it's the right decision.
Though.
Yeah.
But I think the response here for ForJumy is simply just to build shield batteries. Yep.
He's supply blocked. This is like the worst time to be supply blocked when you see an army incoming. All he has is 2 Colossi.
He can't build anything. I say that. He builds 2 more sentries.
2 sentries warp in. But like, Razer sees this army and he thinks, like, I have a chance here.
Is this all you have?
Yeah. This is a huge army of Razer. 61 army supply to just 36.
He's coming out to greet this so he can kite it back. But
I
this
love
is
this
so
position.
scary. He cuts the second base from the third base. He actually pulls SCVs to be able to build some bunkers. But the Colossus cannot step up because the tanks are just going to murder the Colossus. The Bio's going to kill the third base very comfortably. Really nice here for Razer.
And this third base is going to fall. I wonder if Raz is going to take his own third behind it. He just keeps producing units, it seems.
I wonder if he's just going to rally across and really apply the pressure.
Yeah.
It's still only 3 Colossus. Charge is about to finish, but there's just not many chargelets here, though.
He needs to be so careful with those Colossus taking
hull
damage now.
Eating tank shells one after the other. This battery's now enraged. There's only one left, but it's got no energy. There is a disruptor out, so maybe it can start to poke at these bunkers. But I mean, being in this position as ForJumy, this must be really, like I said, uncomfortable. You know you're still in the game, but your Terran opponent is just macroing up, building more and more bio, looking scarier and scarier.
I don't think ForJumy can hold this. He's going to have to try break it at some point, but he only has a couple gateways in his main.
Just leapfrogging forwards really nicely here.
Oh, the Colossus!
The Colossus are still in range, and the Disruptor. Disruptor sends one shot out, actually connects to the tank, but the SCVs are there to repair it, and now the Disruptor's on cooldown. He can't send out another one to kill it off.
Dark Templar warping in.
The tanks are still there.
Newly proxied gateway.
He's rebuilt the pylon, sent to the DTs.
Oh, but Raza immediately lifts the supply depots, seeing them come in. That Disruptor is going to be saved by battery overcharge.
That scan goes down, but he can't get rid of the DTs. He scans his army as well. Yeah, those DTs have made Raza all in now. I was convinced that Raza could do enough damage to suddenly take a third, but no. Because of these DTs and its economic damage, Raza has to essentially kill ForJumy here. He needs to keep staggering these tanks forwards. He's done a good job of it so far, but now there's 2 Disruptors. They can actually one-shot tanks if they both connect.
But how do you ever break this position as ForJumy? There's 5 tanks.
And those bunkers as well, and a turret just for the DTs back at home.
Oh my goodness, an Archon warping in.
He's warping them in, he's merging them into an Archon. He's warped in 4 chargelets on the offensive.
And Raza's sending some of his army back home. I actually really like it, because this army is very threatening to Raza right now.
This is the only way Raza really loses the game, is by just simply dying to this small section of units. Right. So sending this army back to deal with it, I like as well.
And this might
second base goes down.
Seeing this army of Raza might bait ForJumy into moving across the map.
But more chargers have been warped in. They're going to try to chase down this small army for Raza. But Raza's kiting back. They do eventually get surrounded. What is this? And it gets scouted by the Marauder. But look at this. The chargers actually cleaned up Raza's base. Raza has 0 bases. He's lifting off both command centers. And what can he do on the offensive here? One Disruptor goes down, which is
nice. This was a disaster for Raza. He just lost like 20 army supply by sending it home. Maybe he should have just committed to the attack all along.
He needed to take out this gateway. That's the only thing that kept ForJumy in this game. Even unpowering it wasn't enough, because ForJumy simply repowered it. Then again, ForJumy has to, at some point, deal with this army. As it's coming up the ramp, it's particularly vulnerable, so maybe ForJumy will send out some disruptor shots to deal with it.
As it steps up, will hit a tank.
Bio dies instantly to the chargers and the Colossus. The tanks, I think, are getting a bit over-eager here. Another disruptor shot goes out, takes out a lot of the bio. The tanks are going down now. There's only one left. GG is called. ForJumy takes it in a wild game 3.
I can't believe ForJumy won that game. He won it because of that counter-attack, because of that third pylon at the proxy gateway.
That's the only way Raza could have lost that game.
Yep, for sure. Wow, just brilliant.
Wild, absolutely wild.
He forced a mistake out of Raza, and that mistake by Raza was bringing some of his army back. Raza should have just committed to the all-in. He was already all-in.
Yeah, well, ultimately, it comes down to the fact that Raza needed to take out the gateway. If he takes out the gateway, then simply
literally, that makes a huge difference. And that gateway was on red health, but he just left it. It was unpowered. Why would Jimmy ever repower that gateway? That's why.
Exactly.
Somehow he snuck a probe out, and somehow he got that repower for the DTs to come in, then the Zealots. Wow.
I must say, though, ForJumy must have been nervous during that little leapfrog offensive with the tanks.
For sure. I'm sure ForJumy thought he was probably dead in that game.
Yes.
I thought he was dead in that game.
I think we all did at some point. Oh, I thought he was dead when he built the Twilight Council, not the Robo, but then he cancelled it.
That was insane. I like how he just sat there like, why did he cancel?
Yeah. Oh, the spider sense is real with ForJumy.
It's like unreal
ForJumy's the absolute gods with this game sense. Oh no, he scouted it.
That will be it.
All right. Wow. So we are now loading into Ancient System, and we'll introduce the players now. Up 2 games to 1. the green Protoss player in the bottom left. It is ForJumy.
What a bang over series we're having so far. But Razer needs... Oh no, I ruined the introduction. But this man needs to put it back. The red Terran for Red Dragons. It's Razer. I want a game 5.
Yes, yeah. Our second best of 5 of this tournament so far. And I'm just looking at this map. Very large, a lot of ramps and a lot of choke points. I wonder how that influences each player's decision making when it comes to unit composition or even just...
Yeah. So this map's a bit larger than the previous 3 maps, which I think is going to benefit whoever chooses to play for the late game, which I think... Well, in the last game we saw Razer go for that tank push. Yeah, I think it probably benefits ForJumy. I think ForJumy's going to be the more comfortable player in a long game. But look at this.
This is an early scout. And
it's
going in
definitely not a scout.
Yeah, second racks.
Ooh,
is this going to be Reapers?
Oh, I like it. And I really like it because of the way that Razer's delayed. I think he actually cut an SCV here to make it look like that this barracks is at a normal time. Where often if you do this build, this barracks is slightly less HP. And often it's quite hard to tell, but someone like ForJumy would definitely be able to tell that.
Yes.
But the way Razer's done it, ForJumy has no idea.
I'm really interested to know what this second barracks is for. Could it be for Concussive Shell Marauder? Because obviously it can't be Reapers if Razer's gone for Marine first.
Okay, so a really important time here. 143 is when the command center should go down.
Yeah, he is floating minerals to potentially put down ACC. But ForJumy sees that it's not there. Okay, he builds it now.
It's 7 seconds late.
Yeah.
I think ForJumy should be able to work out from that that something's up. It's a tech lab, it's Marauders.
It must be Concussive Shell Marauder.
Yeah.
You can tell he's confused.
See the question mark.
He knows something is up.
What if he just did that though? What if that's got nothing to do with him being confused?
What if he's just a crowd pleaser and he just does it anyway?
He might be. I think he did it against me in my match on stream.
I think he's done it in every game we've cast of him so far.
Fair enough.
Yeah, ForJumy has a lot of questions, obviously.
Yeah, he's a confused guy. ForJumy really doesn't know, does he?
No, he's sending the adepts out across the map, but there will be enough Marines to push this back by the time it gets there.
I've died to this build before. It's very painful because you honestly think nothing weird is going on, and then out of nowhere, 2 or 3 Concussive Shell Marauders march in, and you're thinking, what on earth?
Where did they come from?
Yeah, how is that even possible?
Yeah.
But there's no battery, and he needs a battery.
But why would he suspect anything? Sure, he doesn't see a factory.
Exactly. He doesn't suspect anything.
But he can't let the Shade finish because it's just going to get murked by his Marines.
Actually getting some damage on this Adept is really nice for Razer.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought I was going to finish
and those 3 Marines are just going to send it. I wonder if...
There's a second
the Adept! Here. He needs to be careful. He loses an Adept. Down. That's a disaster.
This one's going to get a lot of damage done into it as well. No, he does pull
and
it
Razer
away.
now is going to be able to find the Stalker, is he? The Stalker's pulled back. Oh no, he doesn't know they're Concussive Shells. Hit the Stalker!
The Stalker will go down to these Marauders, and there's just nothing here for ForJumy.
Is ForJumy dead? He's building one Stalker.
He might actually just die to this.
He's going to need to pull the probes. Probes are pretty good against Marauders.
Sorry, the bunker's going down. But look, he's chronoing out another Stalker, finally building a shield battery in the main base. But I don't know how ForJumy actually holds this.
He's dead. There's so many reinforcements coming in for Razer.
Razer needs to get... he needs to stamp on ForJumy's throat right now. The probes are being pulled, and he is kiting nicely, but there's just too many probes.
Oh, it's a great surround with the probes. He's going to be able to kill a lot of probes.
These units will get surrounded, but there's a lot of probes going down. He does actually tag the Stalker, but he's actually... focusing down the Stalker, then the probes, then the Stalker, now the probes. And this so much economic damage.
11 probes go down. But Jimmy saves his natural base. Or does he? Can he stop the Marauder getting in? Kill the Marauder, get to the bunker!
But he needs to focus down the Stalker. That's the only thing dealing damage. He does, and the Stalker goes down. There is one more here. There's no repair on his bunker, so he does go down. But again, he's now focus fire onto the probes, and more probes go down.
There's a third base on the way for Razer. He is only at 21 workers. This game's not over.
So he's switching, he's going from ultra cheese into ultra macro. So I'm wondering how does ForJumy respond? He's only on he's on 2 gates getting blink. I don't think that's enough production to be able to mount any sort of counter attack.
I really do feel like Razer should have won the game there though, because if he gets in that bunker with his army, then he gets the natural base. Jimmy can't hold that.
So, but I guess
and then he wins.
It's the eternal question of, do you stay on the low ground and kill the second base, or do you go up into the main base trying to kill more probes?
I think when you have your own second base at home, surely Raza should have settled for the natural there, but instead he got surrounded by the probes.
But the location of the bunker on the low ground meant that perhaps, I don't know what the attack range of Stalkers is. Could Stalkers have attacked it from the high ground?
Yeah, perhaps.
But I guess as soon as they start attacking, the Marauders just jump out and start murking the Stalkers down. So, tough one to call.
Oh, on the other side of the map, ForJumy trying to get some damage done with this blink.
Totally safe now. And look at the economy. Raza is really comfortable here.
Yeah, this is amazing for Raza. With that third orbital about to start building as well.
Yeah.
ForJumy's in a lot of trouble here in game number 4.
Yep. This mid game absolutely favours Raza. This could go to game 5. I don't want to call it now, but it could go to game 5.
I'm getting excited. What a banger of a series, especially after that game 1. It's like Mario against Oliveira. After game 1, Mario slaps Oliveira, and we're all thinking, oh, this is going to be a dreadful series.
Absolutely. I mean, we just see this handful of Stalkers. ForJumy cannot make more Stalkers than this while he's trying to probe up. He is going for charge, but that's just a standard transition. He's going for a third base, but again, really late third base on a very low probe count. Really tough position here for ForJumy. I wonder how he can get back into the game. What is the one thing that ForJumy can do or can rely on to try to get back into the game?
It begins with a D and it ends in an R. Disruptors always give you a dream. Well, but we don't see a RazerBlader yet. Oh, but I do love this Stalker blink in here.
Oh, they just eat a massive tank shot though. They're going to have to blink out very soon. Otherwise, they're all going to die as well. There is an observer in the main base, so Raza must suspect this. Otherwise, how else could they have
he sees the observer.
He sees it with a turret, no? Yeah, there's a turret in the natural here. It must have had the sensor
Can we,
range.
Blizzard, can we talk about that detection range? What on earth?
The observer does go down, so again, no more scouting here for ForJumy. He saw, obviously, the 3cc follow-up, so again, very uncomfortable situation. He knows that he's up against it in terms of the economy. So again, just chronoing out probes as quickly as he can. He's now starting to add on the gateways and get his upgrades up, but again, Raza just really far ahead. Yeah,
and with +1 armor starting up now for ForJumy, is going to be focusing on a Zealot-based composition. For now, the Stalkers need to be careful here. They will blink away.
Yeah, he gets a lot of damage out onto that tank. I was wondering if Raza was moving out there so he could attack with combat shields and medevacs, but it looks like he's only just doing it to essentially just scare ForJumy and take a starbase. Nice catch on those mules.
Oh, the stim from Raza comes in. He'll be able to get a couple Stalkers here. Gets 3 in fact.
That's a very expensive for two mules.
3 mules.
Third one survived.
The Terran conglomerate strikes again.
Terran conglomerate.
Unbelievable scenes.
Zerkabal, Terran conglomerate, Protoss.
Yeah, we need Protoss to win a tournament before we get one. No, it's got to begin with a C, I think. Cult.
I was going to say, careful which C you use. I was going to say something else. All right. Both players now comfortably sitting on 3 base, but once again, this still favours Raza. He's got a much higher economy. His army's looking much scarier at the moment than ForJumy's. He hasn't got any splash damage yet. He's relying mostly on his gateway-based army.
So ForJumy's staying on just 2 gases, taking a 4th base, and getting double forged. So he's just going to be trying to play this upgrade gateway style, which is good until Ghosts are out.
Surely that's good on a higher economy. While your opponent's on a higher economy than you, then it just means that your gateway units just aren't as good, that aren't as upgraded as they should be. Nice blink back there from these Stalkers, but again, this is only really to distract Raza. Raza's going for this main attack here. I don't know if he's seen this 4th base, but he's manoeuvring across the map.
What does ForJumy have at home? ForJumy hasn't have
he
enough.
Just has a lot of chargelets. But I think there's just too much DPS here. Raza already has +1 attack.
He's going to go for it.
He's going to jump on them anyway. Windmines are going to go off. There's a lot of damage, but the tanks do go down. So, I think the Warp Prism went down there. DPS from the Marines and the Marauders is too strong. The mouse control of the Observer is terrible. But we see this chargelets are going down now. And yeah, I think that was 50-50, I'd say.
These fights are just so awkward for the Protoss because the Terran starts kiting and there's nothing really you can do.
Not a lot of bio went down, but the Windmines and the tanks did. But in return, the Warp Prism went down. Looks like he's pouncing on top of the Immortal. That goes down. I mean, the Immortal really is like a muscle in this army composition. The chargelets are there to tank, and there just wasn't enough there to tank for that one particular Immortal. I think Raz is looking to still try to pressure this third base. He's looping around like he's thinking about it. There's no observer
Oh, 13
here.
SCVs are going down on the other side of the map.
Where's that?
Zealots at the third base getting a lot of damage done.
Nice force fields there, but I think that actually helps the army on the low ground for Raza. He picks off the really expensive sentries there. All the charges have gone down, so now it's just Stalkers, and their DPS is shocking, but they are getting some pot shots onto the medevacs. But I think that was a nice run by the third base.
Yeah, medevac healing the SCV.
There's still another chargelet here. But look at this position here for Raza. He's actually on top of the third base. There's just not a lot here. Chargelets are being warped in Raza's face, and it looks like he's just going to murk the army while they're being warped in. He's kited all the way back. He doesn't even need the Widow Mines at the back there. He's just going to walk up, kill all these Stalkers, and again, I think once this army is now dead, he can just start killing all the pros.
It's just too much Terran. Raz is going to take us to a game number 5.
Raz is doing it. He's going to take out this pros. There's a shield overcharge here to defend this third base, and he may push Raza back all the way, but again, really good position.
Oh, the
Raza.
observer goes down to the Widow Mine again.
This is not a good series to be an observer.
Wow, Raza, what a game. Just dominant again, and it's going to be 2-2. He's got 84 army supply coming across the map.
These Stalkers, they're now caught out of position. He can't blink down towards the third base, because if he does, this army's just going to stim forwards and take them out. One Stalker goes down. He's going to try to warp in as many charges as he can, but he's just going to kite back to the Widow Mines, and they just destroy those chargelets. Raza now streaming across the map. I think ForJumy's time in this game is much more limited now. He's seen the writing on the wall. He has got a backup third base, but it's just the probe count. Of course, SCVs are going down across the other side of the map, which is the only thing keeping ForJumy in this game, but he can't defend at home. He's unpowered the robot now, so no observer left in this game. And look, he's just stomping on top of this base now.
ForJumy doing such a good job trying to stay in the game with the counter-attacks, but it's just not going to be enough.
There's just nothing to stop the attack at home. He can get some counter-attack damage, but at the end of the day, it's just annoying for Raza, but this is critical. Look at all these Widow Mines.
I think ForJumy just processing the loss at this point. He knows he's dead. Perhaps thinking how he got hit, perhaps thinking what he's going to do in Game 5. Yeah, I'm very confident that ForJumy cannot win this game, but he's going to try, and we can't blame him.
I mean, this army is just huge for Raza. He's taking out this Nexus. He's going to take out this one as well eventually. Of course, ForJumy, he's running all these probes away. He's trying to turn it into a base race. But of course, Raza's army is just so much scarier.
ForJumy, good friends with my teammate Bums. He's very well known for these awfully late GG timings. I think this might be one of them.
Yes, I mean, Raza's bringing everything back. I think he knows that he's done so much damage on ForJumy's side of the map. So long as he does some damage, or as long as he just cleans this up, I think he's in a good position. ForJumy has repowered some of these gateways, so he's got some production back on the map, but he's only got one Nexus. He's got two Nexus, sorry. But of course, one's the main, which is nearly mined out. I think Raza, he's trying to retake the high ground, but I mean, this is such a janky position.
Yeah. ForJumy doing everything he can, taking out some buildings, but a lot of barracks and a command center have floated
There's so much
away.
fire here. He's just going to kite these charges, and when they all die, he's then going to pounce on top of the Stalkers. They're all going to die as well. He's trying to blink away, but some get tagged on the way out. I just think this is down and out for ForJumy. He's down below 20 supply, and of course, you know, Raza has taken a massive economic hit, but he's got mules. He's got two, is it 2 orbitals?
Yeah, 2 orbitals.
Yeah, he's got 2 orbitals, so his economy is just miles. He's scanning for secret bases.
I don't blame him. He must be thinking, what on earth is happening here?
I'm essentially killed ForJumy. Why is he still in the game? ForJumy going for the Hail Mary here for the Dark Shrine.
Raza has so much in the bank as well.
He's got this army. He's just chasing down these Stalkers, because he's like, he doesn't know. Raza just doesn't know how far ahead he is, I don't think. I honestly don't think Raza realizes just how far ahead he is.
Maybe Jimmy doesn't realize just how far behind he is.
Of course, there is always that as well.
Are trading out very well, but it's not going to be enough.
ForJumy has 8 8 probes versus 8 SCVs. Both players are now on an economy that is lower than what they started with at the game. It's purely army v army. But I think if this DT Shrine finishes, and if Razer is too trigger happy on these
he's
Immortals,
saving energy for scans though.
Absolutely.
He has so much energy. Knowing the only way he can possibly lose this game is some random DTs.
Bear in mind though, this Medivac has very low energy and these units are all overstimmed. All these Stalkers are going down now. What army does ForJumy has? This is it. It's literally one Stalker and one Observer. That is ForJumy's entire army. He is staking everything on this Dark Shrine. So long as Razer has scans, which he does.
He has plenty.
I reckon ForJumy's going to run in a DT. It's gonna die instantly to a scan, and then he's gonna GG.
Then
he's gonna GG.
For sure. There is that.
There's the scan. There he goes,
down.
dead. And I mean, Razer's just gonna start to destroy all of these
probes.
What
a game! What a series! And it is gonna be an ace match between these two tournament favorites.
Yep. One more Dark Templar going into the natural, trying to do something, but I don't know what it can do versus this army here. Literally. There is 0 probes out for ForJumy. Scan goes down.
GG.
There it is.
Oh
GG.
my goodness.
We're going to a essentially match point. Game 5.
Wow.
2 games apiece.
What a series this is between ForJumy and Razer.
Yeah, I mean honestly, the last 5 minutes of that game was so chaotic. It was a weird base race. Dark Templar were the last hope for ForJumy. As soon as the scans went down, very mature response though from Razer to save the energy on the orbitals.
That's actually insane how much energy he saved as well. And it's not like he forgot, by the way, guys. Like we saw him mule.
Yes.
Like he consciously chose to save energy on both his orbitals.
As a Terran player in a base race scenario, when you've landed your CCs and you've only got 8 SCVs or less total, you're thinking, right, I'm going to destroy his economy now by completely outmining him, cool down all the mules,
right.
But he chose not to. Really heads up play there by Razer.
Very nicely done. Wow, what a series this is.
Absolutely.
As we were saying before, we think this is going to be the final.
Yes.
What a final we could be in for.
Oh. All right. I'm trying to process exactly how, in which way Razer's won his games, because he had some cheeky builds, but so is ForJumy.
Yeah, well, there's a world where Razer wins map 3 with that tank push, and he wins the series 3-1.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Crazy.
Wild. Okay, we're now counting down in the lobby into Neo-Humanity. So I'm wondering if Razer's going to go for that 2-gas, 2 Reaper Hellion opening again, because it looks like a good map for it. There's no ramp going into the second base.
Yeah.
So if there's a wall off and an adept blocking it, then easily you just grenade the adept and knock it out the way.
Good map to proxy on as well. Lots of locations like a third base behind the gold mineral lines.
Yeah.
Potential for that.
All right, let's introduce the players then. In the top left, in a wild last series, it is ForJumy.
And in the southeast, in the red, give it up for your UK hope. Playing for Red Dragons, the Red Terran player, Razer. What are we going to see here?
Right, looks like no wild gateway this time round for ForJumy.
No.
Interestingly, he's put it up this high up.
Yeah, that's a very weird... Okay, so I think he's put the pylon there, so eventually he's going to reap a wall, but he's not put his gateway there. In case Razer's doing a tank-type push, or a tank-type proxy, and then you can kill the gateway from the low ground.
I also find it interesting not to wall off the natural as well. Obviously, I mentioned earlier with the double Reaper Hellion, and it looks like Razer is going for the double gas. I called it. It looks like a good map for it.
Yeah.
Razer going for the early wall off as well, so he's going to deny that annoying probe.
Oh my goodness. This is the most annoying sight on planet Earth as a Protoss player. The full wall off. You don't know what's going on. There could be a command center behind this. There could be a factory out on the map. There could be 2 more barracks. There could literally be anything happening right now. And there's no way to scout.
Nope.
You kind of have to take a reasonable gamble, play a little safe here as a Protoss, but you obviously don't want to play too safe. There could just be a command center behind this.
Oh, this SCV though, it's caught on the wrong side. The RNG is not favouring Razer, and that SCV goes down. The BM!
The question mark! I love
to
see it. ForJumy enjoying the game, even though this is game 5 in a very important series in the upper bracket semi-final. Love to see it.
I reckon even just seeing this Reaper, well, if he sees this Reaper, that in itself will be information. But it's not going to see it. The Reaper is going to go out on the map, and yeah, what do we see from ForJumy? You see Cybercore. We see 2 gases. No shield battery in the main base. I know some Protosses like to do that just to deny any sort of Reaper harass.
Actually, smart play from Jimmy to send his probe to the watchtower instead of through the middle of the map. Because the slow zone in the middle of the map would have meant the Reaper kills it.
Razor as well is being very active with that Reaper. He's searching for proxies. Obviously, there isn't one there. He catches the probe before it even gets in.
Yeah, so doesn't get to see if there's an expansion or not.
So again, ForJumy completely in the dark here, and is the double Reaper Hellion follow-up.
Stargate on the way for Jimmy.
So there is an Adept here, but it's going to get greeted by 2 Reapers. Reaper's going to just run on by.
Oh, he's going to lose a Reaper.
Yep.
Adept gets 2 shots off on that Reaper, and the Shade will finish and kill it. Good start for Jimmy. Can Razor grab a probe? No, not quite.
So that's actually really good for ForJumy because 2 Reapers in the Hellion start to just pop probes like crazy. So losing 1 Reaper straight away is actually really, really annoying for the Terran player. He doesn't even get the scout off because he didn't send them back into the main. He just loops around the natural, trying to see what he can do.
2 more barracks on the way for Razor, instead of a starport.
Yeah, that is also an interesting choice. We'll come on to that after this. It looks like the Reaper and the Hellion are married up together. They see the Stargate. They're trying to get some probe damage. Nice probe pull there by ForJumy, but some probes will go down. Nice splash damage there by the Hellion.
Oh my goodness.
3
hey,
probes
Razor will take this.
4 damage. 4 probes? Yeah, 4 probes are going to go down. So
and the scout on the Oracle.
Yes.
That's good for Razor. He's got to be happy with that.
I think you would take that for 2 Reapers in the Hellion.
For sure.
Yep.
Especially after losing the first Reaper for basically 3.
Yes, yeah. So he sees the Oracle being made.
There is a Cyclone out to combat that Oracle.
Cyclone again, really heads up here. Really safe. Really safe here by Razor. 3 racks follow-up though, must be quite scary for ForJumy. He will see this eventually with the Stargate units as they come out. Lock on by the Cyclone, immediately gets rid of the Oracle. But now that the lock on is off, the Oracle comes back in.
Yeah, I love that. Jimmy immediately goes back in there, knowing that the Cyclone
can't
lock on, but it's 4 minutes in the map. He can't lose the Oracle to him. Oh my goodness me, Jimmy, that's a critical mistake you can never ever make. Losing the Oracle to 4 slow Marines.
Wow. The moral victory is there for Razor.
Yeah.
Getting 4 probe kills. Gets the Oracle didn't even do anything. It just tagged the barracks temporarily.
No, that's so bad. Jimmy plays hundreds of practice games every week, and I guarantee you he's never lost his Oracle like that. Oh my goodness.
Not since Platinum.
No.
Okay, there's a
Phoenix.
Oh my goodness, that gets caused as well! He miscontrols
okay, that's a really
He picks
nice
up
save.
the Cyclone to cancel the lock-on. So again, nice micro there. But that was really close to losing that Phoenix. It's an ultra low HP now. Could you imagine if he lost that?
ForJumy must be absolutely fuming at himself right now.
He must be rattled after that.
Yeah, most important game of the tournament so far for him. And
look at this by Razor. Look at this by Razor. He must sense some blood in the water. He's killed the Oracle.
I love it.
He's heavily damaged 1 Phoenix.
Yeah.
So if a Protoss player is leaning heavily into Phoenix after Oracle, you must know that the gateway and ground-based army must be quite low. Obviously, 3 racks follow up as well for Razor. So as soon as combat shields and stim pack finishes, this is going to look very scary. Nice shield battery overcharge for ForJumy, keeping everything alive. He keeps his army so tanky. The Immortal's still alive, chunking the tanks, and this is actually just completely fallen flat on his face.
That position of the battery for ForJumy did so much there. It meant he could fight while attacking the tank and still be under super battery range. And now his tank's going to fall.
And he picks up the tank as well, so that's going to go down. So this momentum now has completely reversed. So it looks like Razor just stepped too far up, so that ForJumy's army could just stand in the battery overcharge and just destroy everything.
Yeah.
So now Razor is on a full-on retreat, and whatever momentum Razor once had has been lost.
Yeah, now we're back to much more even game. These 2 Phoenix gonna see that there's no 3rd command center just yet, and that the starport is pretty late.
It's really far away.
Yeah, that means ForJumy can be pretty comfortable to just tech up now, get those Colossus out. He knows he's not going to be under attack anytime soon.
Yeah, he's quite happy to get up to his 3rd base, get his Colossus, keep making some more Phoenix. It looks like he's leaning a bit more into that Phoenix Colossus play. He's got 3, going up to 4. How many Phoenix do you think will go up to? 6?
Probably 5 or 6. I mean, it really depends on the Viking count as well.
Yes,
there's no Vikings yet. He hasn't even got medevacs yet.
I was literally about to say, given how late the starport is, I can't imagine we're going to see a very large number of Vikings. So it's a good thing to go for. Lots of Phoenix.
Yeah, I think Raz is in a lot of trouble here, just because his tech's so late. His third base not down yet either.
I think that attack needed to at least kill more units, if not just kill pros, start to deal more economic damage to ForJumy. Because Raza lost a lot of that army for essentially nothing, yeah, momentum is absolutely with ForJumy. Raza is moving out across the map, and again, 3 racks production, okay? This is a lot of DPS from the bio, and 3 tanks is nothing to sniff
Oh, look at this! I love this.
Smart. No retreat for Raza if he wants to come out through this way.
Could give the tanks a good position actually behind the rocks. So
but Raza can't attack up through this choke point with the sentries and Colossus and the Phoenix as well. It's just it's so scary for Raza to attack into.
We do see the third base now going down for Raza. It looks like he's going to try go round and take the long route.
He needs to be careful of retreating because these Phoenix, if they get a lift on the tanks.
Yeah. Oh, he's just going to
turn.
Oh my goodness, the Phoenix take a lot of damage immediately. The tanks are all picked up, but is there enough Protoss?
There's nothing here to tank for the Colossi.
Oh my goodness, the Colossus are going to fall!
The Colossus are now forfeit. The Phoenix are picking up the tanks, but again, there's just nothing here to support them.
Oh
I think ForJumy
what a
has
fight
played
for
himself. He's lost the Colossus. He lost a lot of his Gateway army and the Immortals and a lot of Phoenix.
Yeah, he lost all the important units. The Immortal and both Colossi went down. This final Colossi getting out of there. The Phoenix mismicroed.
He nearly goes down, only on 13 HP.
This game is an absolute roller coaster, much like the series itself.
Raza needs his medevacs now, because look at the damage on this army. A few good swipes of the Colossus, and you know this bio will just die.
Once again, mature by Raza there to not overextend. He could have smelled blood in the water and really gone for it there.
I suppose he doesn't know, because obviously we have perfect information, but there is no charge, there is no blink.
Yeah.
There's not even a Twilight Council.
Yeah.
So this is really unupgraded Gateway units here by ForJumy. Yeah. He needs to really develop that Phoenix count to make it really scary. But really, that attack there, that trade was really good for Raza.
ForJumy coming in here with a big army. It's 54 army supply.
This is just a really awkward angle though, because
how
it's
do you
a really
fight
nice
these
tank
tanks?
spread.
Yeah. The wall is really strong for Raza.
And there's only 2 Colossi here, and of course no charge, so these tanks are just going to deal so much damage. Yeah, Raza scans the third base, sees the...
sees only 9 probes, he's going to be happy about that.
Yeah, and again, if you look at the work account, this is an excellent position for a Terran player. So right now, advantage Raza.
Definitely.
The question is, what's he going to do with it now? Obviously, there was a Twilight Council that we've missed, but the charge is now on the way.
Dark Shrine as well. Always a good building to have, especially when you're behind. You should go Dark Shrine.
Yes, yeah. I was going to say, we saw how weird and wild that base race was in our last game.
Oh,
Phoenix goes down.
He's going to lose another one.
No, he's picking up all the Marines frantically, but, you know, this is okay. Is it?
Yeah. It's good for ForJumy, but it's nothing crazy. Really needs to not lose any more though.
It's nice. It's nice for ForJumy.
Charge and +1 on the way. +1 only just on the way for Raza, so both players' upgrades very delayed this game.
Notably, ForJumy has paused on the Colossus production. I'm wondering if that's just so he can focus out the pro production and the Gateway army as well.
Well, I think he's actually just going to stay at 2, just to force a lot of Vikings out, hopefully get Raza to overcommit, and yeah, there it is. Disruptors on the way.
I see, that's the call. Okay.
Disruptors do get a bit awkward when you have so many charge lots as well.
Yes.
Obviously don't want to blow up your own charge lots, but they're still very useful.
I was going to say, for charge lots, I think with this many tanks still, and a lot of bio and disruptors, you've got to be really careful how you manage them.
Yep.
You see this wild
fourth
base expansion here from ForJumy.
Real hidden base, why not?
Yeah, why not? You see a 4th base here for Raza as well. I'm wondering if you're going to see the Ghost Academy go down soon.
Dark Templar warped in now as well. I think they're making their way across the map. Oh no, they're actually just making themselves into Archons, never mind. Yeah.
But again, both players just rounding out their armies. You see that one scouting SCV. But Raza hasn't seen this base or anything. He's just seen his SCV be greeted.
I don't think Raza's going to scout that base for eons. I don't see why he'd ever go there. I really like the location by ForJumy.
Raza being very defensive. I wonder what he's waiting for. I guess he's just going to get these ghosts, get enough Vikings to feel comfortable with taking on Colossus, and then just go. But this is giving ForJumy a lot of time and a lot of breathing space.
It's important to remember the players might not really realize how well or badly they're doing in this game. It's been a very chaotic game. It's very
been a
unclear
chaotic
as
series.
to... yeah,
So
that's true.
From the player's perspective, it must be really difficult to interpret whether or not you're far ahead,
Yeah,
far behind,
exactly.
or even. Phoenix going in, trying to get some damage. They nearly kill a Medivac, which would have been nice. They force out its stim, but the Vikings are here now, so these Phoenix can't actually get too close. Otherwise, they're going to take a lot of damage. One Phoenix goes down. They're trying to get one Viking, does get it, at the cost of nearly 3 Phoenix. 2 go down. But ForJumy's army is stationed really cheekily on this base.
I really don't love ForJumy's army. It's so many zealots, so many virtually
I
unupgraded zealots. He has +1, now +2 on the way.
I mean, you've got to bear in mind, he has got the magic unit.
True, there's more disruptors on the way,
somewhere.
and that will increase the value of his army by a lot.
Of course, these Phoenix are keeping tab on everything as well, so ForJumy, he must feel at least somewhat comfortable in his position, just from how he's manoeuvring his army, he's manoeuvring his Phoenix. Nice EMP onto those Phoenix there. A couple do go down. They try to engage the Vikings to pick some of them off, just to trim the Viking number, but at the same time, whenever he does so, more and more Phoenix go down. They cannot engage them in a head-to-head fight. It looks like he's trading them out. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't hate it.
Oh, he's distracting.
Oh, wow,
that's what he's
actually
doing.
going for he's attacking
the
into all
chargelets are
these
going
tanks.
in onto the tanks. The blink forward as well. But as soon as the bio and the ghosts arrive here, the EMPs all over this army. This is now very soft. The Disruptor's going to go down. Sorry, Disruptor, you weren't long for this world.
That was awful for ForJumy. He only
Some
got 2 of the 4
EMPs
tanks as well.
Those force fields ironically help Raza as the chargers were charging up the ramp, but now these ones are just trying to help ForJumy retreat. Raza's now on the warpath. He's just going to try and get straight up onto the high ground to try to take out this third base.
Oh my goodness, these disruptor hits could be huge. The army's so clumped up.
2
disruptors. It's going to push back.
Yeah. I mean, ForJumy steps up, but Raza just kites back really nicely. This is looking really good for Raza. Raza's also got his 4th base up now, so this attack is by no means a commitment. He just needs to just shave off a few new units here and there and threaten the attack. It looks like ForJumy doesn't want to attack the army. He sees this army move out, so he knows Raza's out of position for the counter-attack. Ghosts are now going down. This tank is not going to do very much. Raza is now pulling all the way back to try to cut off this army.
He's going to go for the surrounders. Disruptors are looking vulnerable. Oh my goodness,
some nice disruptor hits and some nice force shields just to funnel the bio army in. And this is ultimately as good as it could have been for ForJumy, but ultimately
is it good enough?
He's having to
his
recall
his army.
He's having to recall some of his army. He doesn't get all of it. So again, another nice fight. Like I said, that could not have gone better for ForJumy. With the force fields, with the disruptor shots, he kills 13 SCVs on the way out as well, and he saves some of these disruptors. But ultimately, Raza's army still looking scary, still on 4 bases.
That's an upgrade advantage as well. He sees probes moving to the bottom left corner. That could
I wonder if that's a giveaway. It must be, but he sees ForJumy's army.
Oh, huge disruptor.
He's trying to jump on the disruptors before the shots go off, but he only gets a couple of them. Some nice shots there, but look, there's no charges here. There's no buffer. So all of these key units for ForJumy are going down one by one. And then Bio stands strong. He tags that disruptor with a concussive shell. That's going to go down as well. And there's just nothing here. There's no muscle in this army for ForJumy.
It's 80 army supply against 60
He's
Stalkers
trying to counter-attack with these Stalkers. But look, these DTs are here doing some amount of damage. We're going to end up in this crazy base trade scenario again.
No, I don't think Raza should go home. I think he has to send it.
Yeah, I don't think Raza knows anything about the secret base, though. Look, Raza's taken out a base.
Oh my goodness, this can he repair the battery fortress? Yes, he can.
But he needs to build a turret, really. He needs to save these scans for the army at home, for the DTs, but also for the natural.
Oh, these Stalkers do not want to take a fight.
Wow.
Oh, the Disruptor's getting jumped on. Jimmy not paying attention. Can he get a head off?
No, the shot goes off, takes out a lot of this bio, but the Disruptors do eventually goes down. But ForJumy knows how to make this game chaotic. This is such a wild game. The blink of the DT into the main base, past the supply depots. They're going to jump on this army. The Liberator goes down, so it looks like the production of Raza is completely forfeit. Raza could, although Raza's ahead in the army supply, a lot of it is in medevacs. Raza could absolutely lose this game.
Raza doesn't know whether to go home or stay out on the map.
We see a lot of indecision here out of Raza, and this could cost him. Ultimately, Raza knows nothing about this base, and I think that's the only reason why ForJumy's still in this game.
I think the hidden base is going to win ForJumy. The game
disruptor goes down, and the chargelets. Look, this base is now going to go down as well to this bio, but all the production for Razer is down. Look at this, 26 SCVs have gone down.
But ForJumy can't attack into that PF.
No, he can't. Razer's going to doom drop the main base.
Especially with Liberator.
He's recalling.
Wow, he sees a recall to another base.
To his
he knows
base.
there's a hidden base now. He knows there is a hidden base.
Well, bear in mind earlier, he saw the probes transferring down, so he must know there's a base down to the bottom left.
Yeah, he's going for it now. But what if he only checks this one? Is he going to check the bottom left?
Yeah.
Please, Razer, please. He's going to check it.
What does ForJumy actually have though? It's purely just chargelets, some DTs, a nice shot there on Disruptor onto the tank, but the tank still lives.
Oh, is there any scans?
He
There's
needs
no scans. There's no orbitals. There's no orbitals. He can't scan.
Oh my god, you're totally right. There are no orbitals, no scans, no detection. Razer's forced to pick off, but some of these medevacs get picked off on the way out. There's only one medevac worth of bio left.
Razer does have the minerals to build. Well, he can't build a starport. There's no factories.
There's no factories. There's no gas income either. Yeah. It's pure minerals.
He has no detection. There's just no way for him to see DTs.
He needs. This is so wild.
I think Razer's just dead. He simply cannot see DTs. And the army of ForJumy looking to intercept these medevacs. And he gets loaded medevac. I think ForJumy's done it. I think he's going to win 3-2. And the big forwards
picks up another medevac on the way out as well. But the thing is, ForJumy can't take this out. With a PF, Liberators and a turret, Razer can survive on this base alone. But the thing is, ForJumy has a much better economy.
Yep.
And look, this is just a wild game. He's building 3 probes at a time. ForJumy is just in a really nice position here. How did this go from Razer's army being so much better than ForJumy's to suddenly ForJumy being the one to take out Razer and win this series?
I have absolutely no idea how ForJumy's done it time and time again with the counter-attacks. Just pulling the game back into his favour.
He's going to try and blink on top of the turret, I reckon. Surely.
Oh yeah, that would do it.
He's stepping on forwards. He's trying to take out these Liberators with the
oh, he's
Stalkers.
going for it. He's going for the turret.
He's going to jump onto the
turret.
He's on the turret.
He gets the turret. GG! ForJumy wins.
Wild,
oh
absolutely
my goodness
wild.
Me, he's into the upper bracket final, and what a way to do it, a 3-2 against Razer.
Surely that's tilting for Razer though. Yep. Going into the lower bracket now, he must think, he needs to shrug himself off and think, oh, although I could have won that, fresh series in the lower bracket.
That map 3, he had that map 3, man. Even this map, he looked very good as well.
There were so many opportunities across the series for Razer to take this, but it slips through his fingers. All right, I'd like to get ForJumy in for a winner's interview. So 2-minute break. 2-minute break.
Awesome.
We'll get ForJumy in for a winner's interview.
Sounds good.
Cool. Thanks for casting.
Thank you.
Don't go anywhere.